Does it ever feel like nothing is really wrong, but somehow nothing feels right either? You look at your life from the outside, and on paper it's fine. You have a job, friends, health, maybe family. You're meeting your obligations. You're checking all the boxes society tells you to check. But internally, there's this nagging sense of disconnection, a quiet hum of dissatisfaction you can't shake. It's like you're watching a movie of your own life instead of actually living it. You're present, but not truly engaged. Why does everything feel so off, so hollow, even when it looks so okay? This isn't about being ungrateful. It's about a deeper yearning for something more, something authentic. This is one of the most confusing feelings to navigate, because you can't quite put your finger on what's wrong. If someone asks you, "What's the matter?" you'd probably just shrug and say, "I don't know, I'm just tired." Or maybe you'd try to explain, but the words would fall flat, unable to capture the subtle unease. You're functioning, right? You get up, go to work, do laundry, pay bills. You do all the things you're supposed to do. You might even excel at them. But underneath it all, there's a hollowness, a sense of performing rather than living. It feels like you're just going through the motions, following a script that someone else wrote for you. Or perhaps a script you wrote for yourself years ago that no longer fits. You're a well-oiled machine, but the engine of your soul feels disconnected. And that's what makes it so incredibly frustrating. There's no clear, obvious problem to fix. It's not like your car has a flat tire or your roof is leaking. Those are problems you can identify, diagnose, and solve. You can change the tire, you can call a roofer. But this is an invisible weight, a pervasive fog. It's an internal problem without an external cause you can point to. Because there's no clear enemy, no tangible obstacle, you start to turn on yourself. You begin to question everything. Is it my job? My relationship? Is it the city I live in? Am I just ungrateful? You start thinking maybe the problem is just you, that you're inherently flawed or incapable of happiness. This self-blame is a dead end. It just leads to a cycle of guilt and shame, making you feel even more stuck and powerless, further isolating you in your own mind. The Danish philosopher Søren Kierkegaard once said, "Life can only be understood backwards, but it must be lived forwards." This profound statement really hits the nail on the head. We spend so much time trying to figure out the grand plan of our lives. Before we've even lived it, we want to understand the meaning, the purpose, the ultimate destination, before we've taken the steps that create it. We crave a detailed map before we even set foot on the journey. But life doesn't work that way. We have to move forward, often into uncertainty, taking one step at a time. And it's only when we look back, from the vantage point of experience, that the dots start to connect. And the path makes sense. The meaning isn't found at the beginning, it's forged along the way. So let's be very clear about this. The problem isn't your life itself. It's not your job, your apartment, or your weekend plans. These are merely the settings and props of your existence. The real problem is your lack of a clear, meaningful direction. You're doing a lot of things, you're busy, your calendar might even be full with commitments and activities. But are you moving toward anything that truly lights you up? Anything that feels inherently meaningful to you? That resonates with your deepest values? Probably not. Your actions don't feel connected to a larger purpose, a personal mission. They feel like a random assortment of tasks and obligations, like pieces of a puzzle that don't belong. One day you're focused on a demanding project at work. The next you're trying a new hobby your friend recommended. And the day after that you're binge-watching a new series to escape. Each activity is isolated, a separate island, in the archipelago of your life. And a life made of random, disconnected actions feels empty. It feels like you're just treading water, expending energy without swimming toward any particular shore, any destination you've chosen for yourself. And this is where the big trap lies. You're waiting for clarity before you make a move. You tell yourself, I'll quit my soul-sucking job when I know what my passion is. Or, I'll start that creative project as soon as I have a brilliant, fully formed idea. Or, I'll commit to this city or this relationship once I'm 100% sure it's the right place for me long term. We've been taught that we need to feel 100% sure, to have a flash of divine inspiration, a lightning bolt of certainty, before we take a significant step. We think clarity is a prerequisite for action, a green light that must appear before we can proceed. We want to eliminate all risk, all doubt, before we even begin. But here's the brutal truth that no one really tells you. Clarity doesn't come from thinking. Clarity is not a gift that descends from the heavens while you sit on your couch pondering the meaning of life, waiting for an epiphany. Clarity is a byproduct. It's the result of action. You don't figure out your passion by thinking about it. You figure it out by trying things, by doing things, by getting your hands dirty, by experimenting. You discover what you love by discovering what you don't love. You find the right path by walking down a few wrong ones first, learning from each detour. So, because you're waiting for this magical moment of certainty that's never going to come, you stay stuck. You're paralyzed by indecision, living in a permanent state of what if, constantly replaying scenarios in your head, without ever testing them in the real world. This inaction breeds more uncertainty, creating a vicious cycle. Another major reason for this feeling of disconnection is that you're keeping all your options open. In today's world, we're constantly bombarded with the message that having options is the ultimate freedom, the key to happiness. And so, we hedge our bets. We don't want to commit too deeply to a career path. Because what if a better, more lucrative, or more fulfilling one comes along? We hesitate to get serious in a relationship because what if there's someone better out there? A more perfect match? We live in a city, but never really put down roots because maybe we'll want to move. We have a dozen browser tabs open for different online courses, a handful of half-read books on the nightstand, and a list of hobbies we might start someday, but never do. Keeping everything open feels safe, doesn't it? It feels like you're protecting yourself from making the wrong choice, from closing off a potentially better future. But what it really does is remove commitment from the equation. And without commitment, nothing feels real, nothing feels deeply satisfying. Think about it. The things that bring the most meaning to our lives, a deep friendship, mastering a skill, building a family, creating a work of art, contributing to a cause, they all require deep, unwavering commitment. They require you to close the door on other possibilities and say, "This, I choose this. I'm going all in on this." By keeping all your doors open, you're standing in the hallway, never truly entering any of the rooms. And life in the hallway is drafty, sterile, and deeply unsatisfying. This paradox of choice is a modern epidemic. We have so many options that we end up choosing none of them, and that paralysis is far worse than making a less than perfect choice and learning from it. If this is resonating with you, and you want a daily dose of perspective to help you navigate these feelings, take a moment to follow our channel, Daily Reset Lab. We share insights like this every day to help you build a more intentional life. Now, let's talk about the real cost of this state of being. The cost isn't just a vague feeling of confusion or a fleeting sense of unease. The real cost is a chronic lack of direction, which leads to persistently low motivation. Why would you be motivated to work hard, to push through challenges, when you don't feel like your work is leading anywhere meaningful, anywhere you truly want to go? Why would you invest your precious energy when you don't have a compelling why driving you forward? This leads to that feeling of being completely disconnected from your own life, like you're a boat without a rudder, just drifting at the mercy of the currents, reacting to external forces rather than charting your own course. And here's a crucial point. Meaning comes from movement, not from passive thinking, not from endless contemplation. It comes from the forward momentum of progress, of building something, of creating, of contributing to something larger than yourself. Without that forward movement, without that sense of progress, nothing feels right. Your brain is wired to seek purpose, to engage in meaningful activity, and when it can't find it, it defaults to a state of low-grade anxiety and discontent. This state of drift also profoundly affects your identity. When you don't commit to anything, when you don't choose a path and walk it, who are you? You're not the musician, not the writer, not the dedicated community builder, not the entrepreneur. You're just a person full of potential, and potential alone is not a fulfilling identity. It's the application of that potential, the committed action, that builds character and a strong sense of self. So, what's the way out of this labyrinth of indecision and disconnection? The solution isn't to double down on your search for the one right path. You've already been doing that, haven't you? You've made pro and con lists. You've taken personality tests. You've asked your friends for advice. You've read countless self-help books, and you're still unclear. Why? Because the problem isn't the path itself. The problem is the lack of choosing. You're obsessed with finding the perfect option, the flawless choice, instead of understanding that you have the power to make an option the right one, through your commitment to it. The grass isn't inherently greener on the other side. It's greener where you water it. Your focus should be on watering, on nurturing, on committing to the ground you stand on, or the ground you choose to stand on. Here's the internal shift you need to make, a fundamental reframe of your approach to life. Stop asking yourself, what is the right thing for me? That question, while seemingly innocent, implies there's a single perfect answer out there that you just need to discover, a hidden treasure map you must find. It puts you in a passive waiting role, a seeker rather than a creator. Instead, I want you to start asking a much more powerful and active question. What am I willing to choose right now, even if I'm unsure? This new question changes everything. It takes the immense pressure off finding the perfect choice, and instead focuses on your inherent power to choose, to commit, and to create meaning through your actions. It acknowledges the uncertainty that is inherent in life and empowers you to act anyway, to step forward despite the unknown. It shifts you from being a passive consumer of life, passively waiting for the best option to present itself, to an active creator of your life, actively shaping your own path, one deliberate choice at a time. And here's a small, practical tip to get you started. A micro-action you can take today. Pick one small direction, just one. It could be anything. Maybe it's learning a new skill, like coding or playing an instrument. Maybe it's getting serious about a physical activity, like running a marathon or practicing yoga daily. Maybe it's volunteering for a cause you care deeply about, even for just a few hours a week. Maybe it's dedicating 1 hour every Saturday morning to writing that book you've always dreamed of. The key is, you're not choosing it permanently. You're not marrying it. You're not signing a lifelong contract. You're just choosing it for now, for a defined period, say 3 months. And then, here's the most important part. Stay with it a little longer than you normally would. When that initial burst of excitement fades, when it gets a little boring, a little difficult, or you hit a plateau, don't just drop it and look for the next shiny object. Push through that resistance. That point of discomfort, that moment of wanting to quit, is where the magic happens. That's where you build discipline, resilience, and most importantly, that's how clarity starts to form. You'll either discover that you genuinely enjoy it and want to go deeper, or you'll realize it's not for you. Either outcome is a win, because either way, you've learned something invaluable about yourself through action. Not just through speculation. Action is data. Every step you take, even a misstep, gives you valuable information that thinking alone never can. Let's bring this all together to solidify this crucial understanding. Nothing feels right because nothing is fully chosen. You're moving, yes, but you're not committing. You're thinking endlessly, but you're not deciding. You're waiting, patiently or impatiently, but you're not acting. And in a life without commitment, nothing truly connects. The dots remain scattered, disparate points on a canvas that never forms a picture. Your life feels like a collection of puzzle pieces from different boxes, and you're frustrated because they don't fit together. Of course they don't. They were never meant to. You have to choose a box, commit to it, and start assembling. If you want things to feel right again, if you want to reclaim that sense of purpose and connection, you don't need perfect clarity or a guarantee of success. You just need a direction. Choose one. Even an imperfect one is infinitely better than none. Start walking. Pay attention to how it feels, to the feedback the world gives you. Adjust your course as you go, but keep moving. Meaning isn't something you find, like a lost object. It's something you build, something you create, one committed step at a time. This awareness you now have isn't meant to make you comfortable. It's meant to ignite a spark. It's a call to action. It's a responsibility to take the steering wheel of your own life, to stop being a passive passenger and start being the intentional driver of your destiny. Thank you for spending this time with me. If you found this perspective helpful, subscribe to Daily Reset Lab for more content that helps you think differently and live more intentionally, building a life that truly feels right.